Greetings and welcome to Theology, Geek, Fitness. I'm Johnathan Pritchett. Proverbs chapter 24 verses 3 and 4 says, "By wisdom a house is built, and by understanding it is established. And by knowledge the rooms are filled with all precious and pleasant riches." And today I'm going to talk about my home gym and the pleasant and precious riches that you can find in it. With knowledge and understanding, right? There's actually a method to my madness when it came to assembling gear, but it was a method that was born out of madness. Because if you've followed along in previous videos, I was a gym goer. I went to a commercial gym prior to the pandemic, and then I had to scramble to find all kinds of things to keep my routines going in the morning so that I wouldn't, lose step. And it was about the same time that I wanted to build muscle as well. I had pretty much been maintaining since my weight loss, and I thought, well, about the same time, I was like, I need to start packing on muscle. I was fit and trim, but a little bit small. I wanted to bulk up some, so, what did I need? And of course, everyone says use weights, but I didn't want to use weights, and all I had was 3 pairs of dumbbells. But I didn't want to go buy any because, number one, they were way too expensive and only available on the second hand because all the exercise equipment had been cleared out. So I was thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to be able to afford a weight set, and even if I spend it all on that, if I just go back to the gym, then I'm going to have to sell all this off, and I won't be able to get what I paid for it. And sure enough, there are tons and tons of exercise equipment now on the secondhand market since the gyms have reopened. But so that wasn't the route I was going to go, and so I had to go walk around various sports stores before they fully closed up, and places like Walmart to see what they had. And it was kind of a smattering, and they were getting things in over the course of the pandemic irregularly and stuff. So most things were out. I managed to score a resistance band kit and a pull-up bar and some other stuff. And I think I got a loop band. And so I had started working out in my home gym with the bands that were more like resistance tubes with handles, and used whatever odds and ends I could find. Over the course of the lockdown, I was able to score that dip stand that you see in there, and that's actually surprisingly useful. But I did like to do my dips at the gym, so that was on my list. I wanted to try to replicate as much of what I was doing at the gym at home. And I found over that course that I really liked the loop style bands more than the resistance tubes with the, you attach the tubes to the handles on either side, or the ankle straps or whatever. I still use those. They're still in my home gym, but I was trying out different little pieces of kit that I could actually get a hold of while every store was basically sold out of things. So over the course of the summer, I finally came to be settled more or less in what kind of equipment I wanted to use and what kind of program I wanted to follow, and the course I wanted to set myself on. When the gyms had reopened, I think sometime in May or maybe early June, I can't remember, I decided I don't need to do that anymore. I'm pretty content on where I'm at with my home setup, and I've been slowly adding things ever since. So the muscle gains that I've had over the course of the pandemic have all come from resistance bands, and primarily my bread and butter workout routine of my 6 core exercises for each muscle group. I pick those exercises with the loop style bands for about 85 to 90% of it, and then I use the resistance tubes for, I don't know, about 10% of them. Some of them just work better with the tube style, but almost all of them I do with the loop band because they work way better. They're more versatile and all of that. It's really interesting when you start comparing them. I'll have to do a video comparing them, but it just becomes, for various reasons, easier, better resistance. Just they handle better. All of that, easier to deal with than messing with the tube style bands. But I still keep them around for certain things. They're useful for what they're good at. They're really good at, and they are. Most of the exercises that I do with the loop style band, you can do with the resistance tube style, just not as well, and you have to stack on so many different bands to get the same kind of resistance you can get from one loop style band. Plus, with the loop style bands, you can grab a band and you can still adjust the resistance on the fly depending on where you grab the band and how much slack or tension you allow or take up out of it. So even the same band has a range of tension. And same with the tubes, but the bands are just easier to change on the fly. You don't, when you have as many of the loop style bands as I have, you don't really have to stack the bands like you have to stack the tubes. Now, I know that there is a set of tubes that they sell at Dick's Sporting Goods, the fitness gear tubes, that they have bands that range from 10 to 100 pound resistance. So if you get some of the higher ones, you don't have to change up so much. But I used to have several of those, but I sold them off, and then I was sent just the standard 150 pound 11 piece resistance tube kit that has a 10, a 20, a 30, a 40, and a 50, and 2 handles and 2 ankle straps and a door thing or whatever. So that's what I use now. I marketed it on Trinity Radio in exchange for the kit and to give it a review and all that. And I'll probably do some more reviews with it because, like I said, I still use it. But the resistance bands and accessories are the core of what I use. So in addition to those loop style bands that you see in the picture, I have various handles. I've got 2 sets of handles. One set is the clinch handle, and that is really useful for a lot of the lower resistance loop bands. And then for the heavier bands, I have these garage fit handles, those metal silver ones that you see. And I think I have a second pair of them right here in my office. These are good for the thick ones. Now, I have some gear up in my office as well as at home. And here's I have a third clinch handle for the smaller style loop bands. Useful stuff. In a separate video, I'll show everything that I have here at work. And then I have a bar that I use. You can use that bar to do various chest exercises, squat exercises, various presses, curls, things like that. When you want to, you can attach both the loop style bands and the resistance tubes to the bar. And then you see what I use as the door anchor there. It's a really cool anchor. You actually have to tie it off like this in order to use it for a door. But if you untie it, you can pretty much loop it around something and pull it through itself in a similar way to you anchor your resistance bands to door anchors, and you can use it pretty much anywhere. You can wrap it around a tree branch or a flagpole or whatever you want. So it's a very useful anchor. And so these bands, that's the foundation of my daily routine. It's interesting because everything that I did at the gym with Planet Fitness, I do with these bands. Now, the bands that I use are clinch fitness bands. They're the ones that I recommend. The same manufacturer that makes them for clinch also makes them these for this company called Resistance Band Training Quantum Bands. But I prefer clinch because they sell the exact same band with this from the same just a different logo, but it's the same manufacturer. I compared the packages that they came in and the way that they, the shrink wrap, the manufacturer sticker, the ties that go around the bands when you initially get them, they look like this. And I put a glove on to handle the bands because I don't like using my bare hands on the bands. But this says clench. This is a backup pair. But this manufacturer sticker, these little things that keep the band tied together, plastic wrap, exact same from both the RGB or RBT training and Clench Fitness. Exact same band. The only difference is price and the logo that they print on them. So I always recommend first, if you want to use these style bands, get the Clench, because the coupon codes are easier to find and it's cheaper than going to get the Quantum bands. But it's like I said, the cost of a band plus these little handles, you can get all kinds of accessories or whatever. You think about a machine in a commercial gym that's like a chest press or a chest fly or whatever, but a little door anchor, a band, and a thing can do that for, $15-$20 for the band, and then, a little bit more for the handle or whatever, and the anchor. But they paid like $2,000, $2,500 for a machine that does the same thing. Yeah, it has a stack of weights, but the weights are connected to a pulley system that is, connected to the handles or whatever. That's basically turning it into resistance, pulling the weight from a different angle. Like if you're doing a chest fly machine, the weight's still going up, but it's through a pulley, so that when you pull it like this, the pulley system will pull the weight up and change the direction. But it's really, any of those bands, all of those bands, and some handles if you like it. I don't actually use the handles for all of the exercises I do, but all of that is way cheaper than one machine, and I can do every machine, and I can do, like dumbbell style or barbell style exercises as well, doing free weight type stuff, for a fraction of the cost. I mean, it's actually ridiculous what you pay for even a home gym system that has multiple different exercise attachments and stuff, and like a workstation type thing. Still way cheaper. And the only thing that you can't do with resistance bands that I did at the gym was the leg press. There's no equivalent resistance band exercise to a leg press, but a leg press is one of the most useless exercises I can think of. You can work your quads any number of other different ways with resistance bands, including everything you would do at the gym, and then more than just a leg press. You can do calf presses with resistance bands. The most effective calf press exercise I found with resistance band, though, is to do 1 foot at a time, with the band around that foot, anchored under that foot, and then, over your shoulder, and then you just press it, and then you do the other leg. But everything that I could do except for a leg press is the only exercise I've not duplicated at home. With these bands that you, all these bands, and maybe you need the door anchor, maybe the handles, maybe not for some of the exercises, duplicates the entire gym. And so you don't need a big machine in your room. Like, my room looks clean, right? But I can do every single machine. It's just not using a stack of weights connected to a cable system. It's just getting the tension off of the band. But your muscle doesn't know the difference between a rock or a resistance band or a free weight or a weight machine. Tension is tension. So the kind of exercises, kind of the bread and butter exercises I do, and I'll usually pick 6 out of these for each muscle group. Legs, I can do squats. I can do single leg squats, single leg calf raises, leg extensions, leg curls, leg crossovers, kickbacks. You can do deadlifts, stiff leg deadlift, all that stuff you can do with bands, right? Same with the chest. You can do a bench press. You can do a chest press. You can do a decline press, an incline press. You can do these with a bench, without a bench, standing up, whatever. There's like a bunch of different ways you can do all of these stuff. I mean, I can do, like with my bench does the upright, the incline, the flat, and the decline. And so I can just wrap a band around my back, put it through my bar, and do 4 different styles of chest presses with a bar. Or I can use the door anchor it low, and do an incline press. Anchor it high and do a decline press, single arm or double arm. I can do a freestanding incline press. Just by putting your foot through it. And I'll demonstrate in future videos different exercises. Chest flies, you can do those chest flies. You can do them upright. You can do a hook fly across your body. You can simulate cable crossovers to work your chest if you want to. You can do a resistance band push-up. All kinds of chest exercises, all kinds of variations on them with the resistance bands. You have multiple planes of resistance with resistance bands that machines try to duplicate, but you can't duplicate it at all with free weights. Free weights, you have one plane of resistance, which is, vertical. But in resistance training with resistance bands, you can do it in multiple planes of resistance. And even with the machines, depending on how you position your body on it, it's still doing whatever preset plane of resistance that the pulley is set up for, whereas I can adjust all kinds of different things right there on the fly. Back, you can do bent over high rows, bent over low rows. You can do seated rows. You can do standing rows. You can do pull downs. You can do straight arm push downs. You can do back extensions. You can do a low pull apart, archer pulls, all kinds of stuff for your back. Same with your shoulders, the same types of things, front raises, lateral raises, shrugs, face pulls. You can do an upright row. You can do shoulder presses, single arm, or use both arms with arm exercises, standing bicep curls, concentration curls. You can do incline curls or any kind of curl behind your back, forearm curls, preacher curls, hammer curls, tricep extensions, tricep pull downs, tricep kickbacks. You can do skull crushers. The only way that I found to do a skull crusher, and instead of laying on a flat bench and pulling it down to your head like that and then back up, I have to do it standing up with it over my head and then pulling it like that to where it's like even with my forehead and back. But you can do all of these tricep exercises in multiple planes of resistance. And then, of course, you can work your core and your abs. You can do all kinds of crunches, wood choppers, side bends, whatever you want to do. All kinds of different things. I usually do 3 exercises with my bands for my abs after my 6 regular workouts, and then I use my stability ball for my 4th exercise. For some reason, for me, maybe different. Some people like to do those kneeling style crunches, which I do. I throw those in. I'll do reverse crunches with the bands. But for me, what works my abs the most is a standing resistance band crunch and that stability ball. Everyone's body reacts different to different exercises, but where I feel it the most is on those kinds of things. So moving along, I have a doorway pull-up bar down there that's cradling that stability ball. I have a dip station and the stability ball itself. And of course, with the dip station, I use that for chest dips and knee highs and leg lifts, and I'm practicing my L-sit, which I've only been able. My record is 46 seconds. I still haven't hit a minute yet. Guys, I'm still working on my calisthenic game. Don't hate. Rows, you can do tricep dips, bicep curls, incline push-ups. Using your body weight. With the stability ball, I like to do those pikes, decline push-ups, crunches, hamstring curls, do the V-pass, back extensions, jackknives, whatever. There's a ton of exercises you can do. These are my +7 exercises that I use these things for. So I always do 6 exercises with the bands. I do my 4 ab exercises, and then I like to mix it up with +7. And my +7 exercises are the 7 exercises I do after I finish my resistance band and ab routines every day, and then depending, working whatever muscle group, and then I go into a +7, which I do 2 sets of 12 in my +7 exercises. So one day I'll grab the dip station. One day I might do the stability ball. One day I might do my +7 on the pull-up bar, doing hammer pull-ups and regular pull-ups and chin-ups and push-up variations that you can do with the bar on the ground and tricep dips and stuff. So I always pick 7 exercises with one or more of these extra little items that I have in my gym. That's what I'm doing now. I may change it up and do, 4 resistance band exercises and then grab something else for another exercise in my first 6 from one of these things. But right now, this is how I'm doing it. I have these things for my +7 exercises. But I may work them in and do fewer bands or add a band for the +7 in the future, but I'm trying to stick to my routine. I have a suspension trainer in my kit. This is not a Trax. It's the same color as a Trax, but it's a knockoff. I picked it up for $5. Evansville has what's called Evansville Treasure Hunt, which is a bunch of damaged box goods from retailers and Amazon and things like that. I don't know where they score that stuff, but then they put it all in these big, these real long tubs that they have that you have to go dig through, and it's always crowded and whatever. But I scored this for $5, same place where I got my pedal station for $5. The stuff in the boxes are typically in good condition. I've never bought anything that was broken from this place, but the boxes are in bad shape a lot of the times. Not always, but a lot of the times for the really good stuff. But I found this for $5, and it holds up like a champ. It's got a door hanger. I'll use my little mouse thing. That's a door hanger right there. And this other long strap is kind of like an anywhere anchor that you see up here. You can do it inside, but while the weather's nice, I like to put mine outside on my Ent. For you Lord of the Ring fans, that's what that's supposed to be, by the way. And then I have the rocks there so that I remind myself, don't screw up or you can dash your head on the rocks like the psalmist talks about the babies. But I don't want that to happen to me, so I'm very careful. But I like this because you have the door in your way, but this is free hanging. You can, you're leveraging your body for body weight against that, and so I like the different angles that you can go through. You're not just against the door and moving off the door with that. So I'll do typically one day I'll pick this for my +7. Plus I have some something similar like that here at work. Now there's literally hundreds of exercises you can do with a suspension trainer. And I think that some people make this almost their entire thing, right? I mean, you can get a suspension trainer like a Trax knockoff thing that's just as good condition. You won't get all the access to the videos or whatever, but there's plenty of stuff on YouTube. You could do just this and get in really great shape. Now, you might get bored using one item. See, I'm not a minimalist. I'm a maximalist. I like to have a bunch of different options and do different stuff. So that's why I have these other little pieces of kit. And when they don't cost you that much money, you pick it up. But the suspension trainer I have here in my office is like $15 at Walmart. It's called a suspension trainer from Spry or whatever that I got from Walmart for $15. And I use it here at work. I really like suspension training exercises, leveraging my body weight. And, the sharper the angles that you get with your body, or the more horizontal you get with it, the harder it is. If you don't want to lean too much against it, you can make it easier by being more upright. But you can do chest presses, chest fly, rows. I don't know why this says back exemptions. It should say back extensions. Y raises, like a T fly. Shoulder presses, which is really fun when you put your feet in it and you walk yourself upside down and start doing shoulder presses. My goal is to be able to do a freestanding handstand. I can't do that yet. But I can cradle my feet in the suspension trainer and back myself up, and I can do it up against a wall. And you can do single-legged squats. You can do squats. You can do lunges. All kinds of fun stuff that I'll mix in there for my +7 when I use my suspension trainer. I love the inertia wave. I had some battle ropes because I love to use the battle ropes at the gym, but this inertia wave thing, I got this for Father's Day, and it is pricey. With the coupon code, I think it was like $105. But man, it is awesome. And 90 seconds of this is like the equivalent of walking or jogging for like 10 minutes or something. It's just ridiculous what it can do. It'll wear you out, or at least it wears me out. You burn a lot of calories in a relatively short amount of time without having to do tons of cardio. And everyone knows I'm not a fan of cardio. But it's also, work some muscles while you're doing it. And there's 7 movements that they have to it. I'll be honest, I haven't perfected all of the movements. And then a jump rope's a jump rope. I paid like, I don't know, $2 for that jump rope. But I try to do 2 1-minute rounds per movement, but and I'll pick out of these 7 different movements they have. I haven't mastered all of those movements yet. Some of them are really difficult. Some of them are basic and easy, like normal battle rope type stuff. But I just love this thing. I love it more than battle ropes. It's great. And then with jump rope, I try to do 14 1-minute rounds with a 1-minute rest between it, and that about kills me too. So that's something I have to get better at. But jump roping and inertia wave, these are the types of things that I like to do as opposed to jogging or running or whatever. But I like to mix these in as well, just on a different day. Now I love that Storm 6 over there right here in the corner. And then I have I don't know why I put 2 T's in mat, but a fitness mat and a foam roller here. And the foam roller is pretty self-explanatory. You just use that to work out certain pain spots. It's actually painful when you first start doing it until pain goes away. But I like to use that. But with my Storm 6, it holds water that shifts in it, so it's highly functional that way. And so I really love this thing. But it's another thing that I actually it was another Father's Day gift, but I think it was like about $100 as well. It's actually an expensive piece of kit, like the inertia wave, but it is super awesome. I use this and the inertia wave almost every day, and I use my bands every day. And I used to use my dip station 3 or 4 times a week and my pull-up bar 3 or 4 times a week, but they've kind of fallen off since I've gotten these things, because these things are just super awesome. And this, I love the way the weight shifts in it, and you got to kind of handle it as you're trying to do the exercises, and it's difficult. So I like that as a nice change of pace. But you can do squats and calf presses and lunges, and you can do deadlifts and good mornings and single arm shrugs, and you can do shoulder presses. You can do these overhead lifts. You can do these tumps, where it's great, where you hold it on one side and you just have to lift it over your head and tump the water from one end to another. And it holds up to 60 pounds worth of water. Then you can do battering rams. You could do rocker tumps, which is kind of like a kettlebell swing with it, where you swing it up, you tump it, and then you swing it back through your legs, and then repeat it like that. It'll wear you out. And tricep extensions, curls, and all kinds of stuff. And then I had a slam ball. I don't know if the slam ball is kind of cradled up in this little bench cubicle here. And I love the slam ball too. I have a lot of fun with that. I go out and do it in my garage, and it's just get out a lot of good frustration if you're frustrated, or it's just fun. You can do front slams, side slams. I do my hip thrusters and bridge exercise with this. Do Russian twist. Do a lunge with a twist. All kinds of fun with the slam ball, and that's also usually when I do active rest days. I don't do rest days where I do nothing a whole lot. I try to do like 25, 30 minutes of something, turn them into active rest days. And I always use the slam ball for that. It's just a lot of fun. I like to get out there and just throw the ball to the ground. Exercise dice. These are a lot of fun to change things up and incorporate a lot of body weight exercises. You just roll the dice and do what it tells you to do. So that's a lot of fun. When I do PE with my kids are homeschooled, and I'm the PE instructor, so they have fitness mats too. I got those fitness mats for $5 a piece at Five Below, and I got these dice at Five Below as well. that's pretty cheap. I've seen fitness mats at Walmart that one of them will cost on the lower end $15, and these $5 ones are as good as the $15 cheap ones at Walmart. So my kids and I, we have those, and we take turns rolling the die and have a lot of fun. So we do a lot of these on PE nights, and I do them some just to mix things up. And then my last piece of kit that I have is a backpack filled with rocks. And so when I go walking sometimes, I like to go rucking. And rucking is just walking with weight. And so I'll put this backpack. I'm not going to spend money on a weighted vest when I have a backpack that's not being used. And I had a bunch of rocks that weren't being used. Same type of rocks that you saw around my Ent tree in my backyard around my suspension trainer. That backpack's loaded with them. And I wanted to get it somewhere around 45 pounds. And I got 45 pounds, 6 ounces, and close enough. So that's I'll take that with me to go walk around the neighborhood some, just to add a little bit of weight to that. And that's a lot of fun. And of course, when I get in, I'll see the shoulder straps on my skin through my shirt. You know, I'll take my shirt off and I'll see the red strap marks there, because it's not easy to carry that around for 35 minutes or however long I'm out doing a couple laps around the neighborhood. So that's my gear. I do have plans on adding some future things. I really liked the Terra Core, and I thought about adding that because I thought it was a lot cooler than just like a Bosu ball, but I want to get into some balance training stuff. But they launched a new product on Kickstarter, so I got in on that at the cheapest price. And this one actually has wheels. It's a little bit smaller than the Terra Core, but I think that this probably for my uses is going to be as functional, if not more functional. So I'm going to get that as well. And then the same people who make that Storm 6 also make these little hydro balls. These are kind of kettlebell looking things. Kind of look like the older Kamagon balls. They used to sell those too. But these came out here recently, I don't know, a few years ago or whatever. But I really like the Storm 6 so much that I think I want to add these and do some kettlebell-style exercises and medicine ball type stuff that you can do with these as well. So I'm going to get these. I have a 12-pound one and a 25-pound one. So I'm going to get those and add those to my kit. I think they're around $35 for the 12-pound and $40 for the 25 pound, or up to 25 pounds. You just put it on there and start filling it up with water put it on your scale. You can stop it wherever you want to, but I'm definitely adding those. I like the company, and I like kettlebells. I used kettlebells when I was at the gym, and so I thought this was pretty cool. I think I'm going to definitely get these. Another future edition I might get is SugarFit has a bar and a board that they make. They sell as a unit, kind of like the X3, but nowhere near expensive for that resistance band thing. But I see the use, because sometimes with these bands on your deadlift, when you have a heavy band, putting them under a board I think makes a lot more sense than just on your feet. I've used just under my feet for so long now, but sometimes when I get a heavy band, it'll start curling my feet inward, because the band, you know, I'm not like, if I'm trying to squat or deadlift with a huge band now, like I've been doing, it's like it'll start to curl my ankles in and my feet in. So I think I need to get a board so I can stand flat and run the one end of the band, or even double up the band over under one of those boards. So I think I'm going to get one of those as well down the line. So I'm not done collecting gear, but those are pretty much what I'm looking at for the future. Do I need them? No, I don't need a lot of this stuff, but like I said, I'm not a minimalist. If I was a minimalist, the one thing that I would get would definitely be the loop style bands, and if that's all I could ever use, that's all I would use. But it's not all I have to use, so I use more. So I use weight, but I don't use weights. So obviously the weighted things, my body is a weight, right? So for suspension training and calisthenics type stuff. But I don't use any iron. And as far as weighted stuff that I have a dead ball, That's a 20-pound dead ball, and I have that Storm 6, which uses water weight, and I'm getting those hydro balls, which uses water weight. But I decided I want to see how far I can get without using traditional weights. Right? I'm not trying to be a super duper bodybuilder, and be massive, and I'm not trying to be a, competition power lifter. So, but I do want to build some muscle. How far can I get without traditional weights? That's kind of something that's interesting to me. And one thing that I found trying all these different little odds and ends stuff as I was piecing together my home gym was I enjoy alternative methods of exercise more than I do using dumbbells and a barbell and weight machines. I just enjoyed this better. Plus, when you're not using traditional weights, there's less risk of injury, and I'm all about that. Plus, a lot of this is more functional training, which I'm all about that as well. I like, being able to do things just with my body weight. A lot of people, whether they can lift their own body weight or even more than their own body weight, that's kind of a false sense of strength compared to like the calisthenics guys who can do freestand, handstand, shoulder presses with just their body, grabbing a pair of parallettes or whatever and just sticking their feet straight up in the air and controlling their body like that. To me, that's more impressive than being able to deadlift or squat 500 pounds. Couldn't care less. You can't do anything with that. But yeah, more functional training with all of these types of tools, the shifting weight. I carry bags of chicken feed that are 50, 60 pounds, shifting weight in those big bags because we got chickens in our backyard and all that. So it's more functional training for using these sorts of tools that I've pieced together. And ultimately, it's a lot cheaper. Now, I do spend a good bit of money here and there. Look at that. I'm drinking a Diet Coke. I'm cheating today. Over time, but it's still none of this stuff. I have no single item that I think I've spent more than $100 on, and most of those items are $5, $10, $20 here, $15 there or whatever. And so it's still overall cheaper. Plus, it's cheaper than getting, like a Marcy Pro contraption thing for your house or whatever. I was looking at a power tower, for $179 at Dick's when it's like, and all it can do is the same things that I can do on my dip stand that I paid $50 for at Academy Sports and my pull-up bar that I spent $17 on at Walmart. So I was like, why do I need that big power tower? I have a doorway, pull-up bar, and I have this dip stand that costs $50 and ended up being able to do a whole lot more on it than I thought I would be able to. So that's pretty cool. So I don't mind using weights, but I don't use weights, and I don't miss lifting weights. Now, that's just me. Some people just like to lift heavy weights. They like to pump that iron. Great. Do what you like. This is what I like. And so this is, and it saves a lot of, dumbbells are expensive. Kettlebells are expensive. Weight plates are super expensive. This is just all super expensive, and it's ultimately more limiting than what, you can do with a good set of resistance bands and then add some little handles and all that other stuff to make it, more ergonomic or whatever. Not that you need it, but they're nice to have. So I train with weight, body weight, and water weight, and whatever's in that dead ball. Slam ball is just dead weight, but I don't use weights, and I want to see how far I can go without it, and I don't miss weights, and there's too many advantages to go back. So I'm not only not going to go back to the gym, but I'm not going to go use weights. There was one thing that tempted me. It's called a Y-bell. And I was tempted, but I was like, nah, I'll just get the hydro balls and kind of do the same type of exercises with it anyway, and it'll stick with your whole motif here. There's two other things that I'm considering getting. Gymnastic rings and parallettes. I don't know if I'll get them. It seems like the gymnastic rings will ultimately make my suspension trainer unnecessary, but I see people who use both. The calisthenics crowd uses both, and I just want to get more into the body weight thing. I really like it, and I do want to get better at calisthenics. I want to be able to do a handstand. My goal is to be able to do a human flagpole. That would be awesome. And I thought, well, maybe I'm too old to start training for this kind of calisthenics thing. But then a friend on Facebook was like, no, you're not. I'm pushing 50, and then here's a video of a guy who's in his mid-50s doing a human flagpole. He's a friend of mine. Here, watch this. So you're younger than he is. So I was like, dang. Okay, maybe I'm not too old. So things I'm considering, I'll think about it, you know. Right now I'm just trying to build muscle mass, and then I might work. Once I become a heavier human weight, I might start seeing what I can do with that as far as calisthenics go. But I'm considering that. But that's it. That's what I'm using, and there's a method to my madness. There's a reason why I use all of these things, and I've really, really enjoyed them. And like I said, I made an argument in the last video that for most people, a home gym is objectively a better option. Now, that can include free weights or dumbbells or barbells or whatever you like. It's still a better option. These are all cheaper, and I'm getting the same results with less risk of injury and spending a lot less money. So that's why I go with what I go with, and I've never been bored. Never been bored. Even with the resistance band stuff, never get bored. It's just those loop style bands, I will argue, are some of the best. You know, I mean, I know that they're originally, I guess they were designed to help you do pull-ups, but I think as far as a functional tool of muscle building and exercise, I think that is one of the best things ever created for that purpose. It is just super versatile and just super fun. You know, all the different things you can do with those resistance bands. That's why it's the bread and butter of my home gym and the bread and butter of my workout routine. So anyway, thoughts, comments, leave them in there. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe. Future videos, I'm going to actually show you what I do with these. I'm going to actually do exercise videos. Won't that be fun? Now, I'm not a trainer. I'm not promising that I have the perfect technique on everything or whatever, but I'll show you what I do with this stuff in future videos, so that'll be fun. Also, for patrons who want to subscribe to our, for patrons who want to help contribute money to fund what we're doing here at Theology, Geek, Fitness, I'm going to have full workout routines for all of this different gear for you guys who want to follow along. Maybe the other contributors will do that as well, but I'm certainly going to get those up for the patrons. Maybe do some live workouts for the patrons in a private group or whatever, but those are perks for them. So if you want to become a patron, I'd really appreciate that. And I'm going to try to have some review videos coming up soon as well. So thank you for watching. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, even tell everybody, like, share, and subscribe. Also, really, if you're really wanting to get in shape, or you really know someone who wants to get in shape, and they want to find a Planet Fitness style judgment-free zone type, no gym whatever corny crap they wrote on their walls, that's us here at Theology, Geek, Fitness. We want to see people get in better shape. Or if you're already in super duper shape and you love Jesus, happy to talk to you as well, and maybe you come on and tell us why we're wrong about everything, or where you disagree, or what you agree with, or where you're coming from. So hopefully we have lots more content coming your way, so keep watching. Thank you, and God bless.